With the Survivor Series pay-per-view in the rearview mirror, the wrestling fans can now look back at what was certainly an interesting night. From Raw dominating the show, winning all of their matches on the main card, to Charlotte Flair unleashing a vicious attack on Ronda Rousey, Survivor Series delivered on many fronts. In the main event, Bryan faced off against Brock Lesnar, what was a lopsided affair until Bryan turned the tide and got in a substantial amount of offense. In the end, Lesnar got his hand raised, but not before Bryan gave him and Heyman a scare. The fans in attendance had a great time, and with Enzo Amore showing up, things took an interesting turn. Enzo was then kicked out of the arena while the fans recorded Enzo's attempts at hijacking the show. However, there are a few other things you might have missed while watching the event. My name is John, and in this video we give you 5 things that you might not have noticed at Survivor Series. One of the highly anticipated matches on the card was the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match between the male superstars from Raw and SmackDown. The Red Brand walked in as the overwhelming favorites, with the likes of Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre almost guaranteeing a victory, and in the end only 2 superstars from Raw were eliminated, and Strowman, McIntyre, and Lashley stood tall to give the Red Brand the win. While the fans weren't impressed with the booking and a large section of the universe believed that SmackDown deserved to peg one back, one of the things you might have missed during the match was the sequence between Finn Balor and The Miz, which resulted in Finn going for a standing double foot stomp on the A-lister. However, with Miz wearing a shirt, Finn slipped and ended up stomping Miz in the face. Renee Young mentioned the incident on air and exclaimed that Balor just skidded on Miz's face. While Miz did not get injured, it could have just as easily resulted in a broken nose or orbital bone for the former WWE champion. One of the reasons why WWE booked multiple inter-promotional matches on the show was to establish the dominant brand in the WWE. While the fans were shown graphics of the wins and losses traded between Raw and SmackDown throughout the event, those who paid attention were left wondering why WWE didn't acknowledge the pre-show match involving 5 tag teams from Raw and 5 tag teams from SmackDown. In fact, by the end of the night, the Blue Brand had only won a single match, which was the Elimination Tag Team bout. But that wasn't even taken into consideration. The likes of Xavier Woods tweeted about WWE ignoring the match, and the superstars weren't too pleased with the way WWE snubbed them. To those that didn't tune into the pre-show, they wouldn't be aware of the fact that WWE gave the cold shoulder to most of the tag teams in the company, which included the likes of the New Day as well as the Usos. Ronda Rousey did not get the reception she or the WWE would have expected, with the fans in Los Angeles chanting for Becky Lynch and cheering on Charlotte. While the fans were split in half, WWE would have expected more fans to side with Rousey. And when her match with Charlotte Flair ended due to disqualification, the WWE Universe seemed to enjoy the beating Charlotte put on Ronda, and the fans even booed Ronda while she was making her way to the back. Rousey was visibly taken aback by this reaction, as the fans started singing "Hey Hey Goodbye." Ronda stopped in her tracks on her way back, looked at a fan, and mouthed something. Upon closer inspection, you could hear Ronda telling the fan that he wasn't a man. Ronda has been pushed as the face of the women's evolution. While she hasn't lost a match in WWE yet, the reaction from the universe and her own confrontational response could suggest Ronda turning heel in the near future. With the superstars from Raw completely dominating the proceedings at Survivor Series, The Miz had to be clever and think on his feet. Miz, who was the captain of SmackDown Live's team, let Shane McMahon give them a pep talk backstage and depended on Shane to put his body on the line during the match. Miz goaded Shane into executing multiple coast-to-coast, and when Braun started chasing Miz, he threw Shane in harm's way. Miz did display his wits during the match, but that wasn't enough to secure his team the win. At Survivor Series, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair put on an instant classic, and unlike Ronda's previous matches where she bulldozed her way through the competition, Charlotte gave Ronda a run for her money. There were even a few instances when the fans believed that Flair would cause an upset, but towards the end of the bout, Charlotte snapped and pummeled Ronda with a kendo stick and wrapped a chair around her throat before stomping on it. During the match, however, something odd happened. Ronda inexplicably began bleeding from her mouth, and WWE chose to ignore it. Whenever a superstar starts bleeding, WWE immediately tries to censor the blood by going black and white. However, that did not happen with Ronda, and by the end of the evening, it was obvious that Ronda had inadvertently bitten the blood packet or capsule too soon. Ronda, as things would pan out, was supposed to do that once Charlotte stomped on the chair which was wrapped around her throat. However, considering Ronda missed her cue with the spot, she went to the back without selling the move as much, which was supposed to emphasize the gravity of Charlotte's attack. And these are 5 things you may have missed at Survivor Series. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more videos.